The Human Rights and Humanitarian Forum in May 2024 brought together influential voices to Los Angeles to discuss gender justice and women's empowerment. Organized by the Aurora Humanitarian Initiative in collaboration with UCLA's The Promise Institute for Human Rights, the event addressed critical challenges and opportunities for advancing gender equality worldwide. Speakers included Ilwad Elman, 2020 Aurora Prize Laureate and Director of Programs at the Elman Peace Center, Zubaida Akbar, Afghanistan Program Manager at FEMENA, Janine di Giovanni, Executive Director of the Reckoning Project, and Zubaida Bai, President and CEO of the Grameen Foundation. Moderated by Aurora Board Member and founder of Memory Matters, Alice Greenwald, the discussion explored how global systems can better serve women and girls.
Our panelists today are incredibly distinguished and committed individuals. They are also, I would call them, courageous women who have variously dedicated their lives and careers to advocating for gender equity and the human rights of women and girls.
Zubaida Bai, president of the Grameen Foundation, opened the session with a personal story that underscored the invisibility many women experience. From her childhood to her professional life, Bai's experiences revealed how systemic barriers hinder women's voices and contributions.
As I was looking at the definition of gender justice, the definition that came up that said, gender justice is ending inequalities between men and women that are produced and reproduced in the family, in the community, in the market, and in the state.
Bai highlighted moments in her work ranging from designing tools for women in agriculture to addressing reproductive health that expose the marginalization of women in decision-making environments.
So 2 decades into my work, I'm still thinking about the invisibility of women, right? Where is the justice? Why are women still invisible?
Zubaida Akbar, Afghanistan Program Manager at FEMENA, focused on Afghan women living under Taliban rule. She described the institutionalized gender apartheid that has stripped women of access to education, healthcare, and even basic freedoms, silencing their voices through violence and intimidation.
It's really key to keep the light on Afghanistan, to keep talking about the situation, because the last thing that we want to see happening is that the Taliban's atrocities and brutality is normalized, and it's just...
Akbar stressed the importance of international solidarity. She called for amplifying Afghan women's stories and ensuring accountability, not just for the Taliban, but also for governments engaging with them.
We need to be sure that that engagement doesn't embolden the Taliban, which has been happening for the past 3 years.
Ilwad Elman, 2020 Aurora Prize Laureate and Director of Programs at the Elman Peace Center, spoke about the systemic violence against women in Somalia. She explained how subjugation and abuse creates a dangerous cycle that normalizes these conditions for future generations.
Where there is systemic violence against women, there's also an environment where children experience, witness, are exposed to women's subjugation, violence against women, abuse, and it becomes normalized. And that's what we see in Somalia.
Despite these challenges, Elman highlighted signs of progress in Somalia, including legal reforms like the Sexual Offences Bill and shifting societal norms. With 80% of the population under 30 and an average age of 16, Somalia's youth are driving changes after decades of conflict.
So we're talking about a nation of children that have only ever known war. So when we're talking about change being possible, one, it very much is because the nation of children, and we know how malleable their minds are and how much change can happen when we engage the youth.
Janine di Giovanni, Executive Director of the Reckoning Project and a longtime war correspondent, shared her transition from reporting on conflict to advocating for justice for war crimes victims. Drawing on examples like Bosnia, she underscored the impunity that perpetrators often enjoy.
Those 16,000 women I told you about in Bosnia, 70 men were charged with it, and only 30 of them were actually convicted. What I wanted was justice for them.
Giovanni emphasized the importance of women in peace negotiations, a role often overlooked in male-dominated decision-making spaces. She cited Colombia as a powerful example of how women's involvement could lead to more lasting peace.
It really is everybody's problem. It's not just a woman's problem, and making that the narrative is critical to getting to the solution. It's fascinating. Thank you so much.